the Rolling Stones here at 9 minutes after 10 o'clock. And as I promised you, I have a guest here, Jon Ely, with me today. Good morning, Jon.
Good morning, Jim.
Good to have you with me today, man.
Thanks for having me.
You know,
Appreciate it.
A month or so ago, maybe it's been a little longer than that. Time flies when you're having fun, right? Is that what they say?
Absolutely.
Mr. Briggle told me about you, and I started hearing about some things that you were involved with, and I thought, boy, what a great story and what a great program, and we need to get you on the air.
Yeah.
And a telephone call was all it took.
Yes.
And the next thing you know, here you sit.
Here I am.
It's fantastic.
I appreciate being here.
We appreciate you being here. I love the shirt that you're wearing today.
Yeah, that's my VFW shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went through a July 4th weekend, I'm sure.
did.
Did you celebrate like everybody
Yeah.
else in Northwest Ohio?
Yeah, saw a little fireworks. Got to go to the Kunkel Parade and
Yeah.
enjoyed that tradition. Always a good parade out there, and yeah, it was just nice, quiet with the wife, and good food.
Yeah. If you can get to the Kunkel Parade on the 4th of July, people do not realize that.
It's
but
just fabulous.
yeah, that is the parade that you really want to get hooked up with.
So
isn't
much
it?
fun and very enjoyable
Yeah.
to watch.
Now, we brought you in here because you have a very special project that's going to happen here, and is really in the process of being worked through right now. Tell the folks what you're doing right now, Jon.
Well, it was kind of at the end of the 2019-20 school year. Towards the end, Mr. Rary, Mark Rary, our school superintendent, had me in his office, and he was kind of talked to me about a wall for the military, to honor the military. And I said, I've been thinking about that, and I've seen them in other schools, and I think they're wonderful. And so he asked me if I would be like a point person to get information from other folks so we could make that happen. I go, yeah, I think that would be wonderful. So I agreed to do that, and we kind of put some thoughts together, and but unfortunately that year, 2020, last year, around June 5th, we lost our daughter, Mallory Jean, who served in the Navy and graduated from Bryan in 2010. She honorably served for 6 years in the Navy, and she spoke Arabic, and she was kind of like a Navy spy, and she
Wow.
did a wonderful job. Unfortunately, she had like 80% disability and suffered from PTSD, and
Wow.
and we lost her. And it's just unfortunate. It was shocking, and but this made my wife and I think a little bit more about this project, the Wall of Honor, and so we kind of thought, why don't we not only be point people for this, but why don't we give back to our school, the school I graduated from, my daughter graduated from, my sister, my brother, our family, and kind of give back to them, and go ahead and fund the Wall of Honor for our school, and as a memorial to Mallory Jean, and importantly as well, all those who served our country and graduated from Bryan and worked at Bryan
Yeah.
City Schools. So that's kind of how it got launched out, and so we came up with a nice way to basically do a media blitz. We put out on Facebook, on our Facebook pages, the school pages, the newspaper. It's nice that we're doing this radio program to continue to put this out, but the response has just been overwhelming. We have over 410 names that are going on this wall so far, and I'm sure there's going to be many, many more. We feel like there's going to be some spikes when people hear about it. We're going to hear more people.
Sure.
Oh yeah, well I graduated from Bryan, and getting to know people on the phone. I've had so many people call me and getting to know their story. It's just I'm a social person, so I love getting to know people and to find out their military story, and then they'll tell me their loved one graduated in Bryan in 1936, and this is what they did in the military, and it's just fabulous to hear all these stories. And then I take their names, and we're going to get them on the wall. And Darren Brown from School Pride in Columbus is doing the project for us. He's the same one that has done all of the boards down in the awards hall at Bryan City Schools as you enter the event center.
Yeah.
The wall will be positioned there. It's just been very humbling, very rewarding, and the support I've received from our school. I'm employed there. I'm the in-school suspension guy. Not all like me very well.
You're that guy. Yeah.
I'm that guy.
Okay.
But
right.
If only the kids knew how much I love them,
Yeah.
they wouldn't think that way. But I have to do my job, unfortunately. And I spent 27 years in the Navy and then 10 years in juvenile probation, so I'm used to kids. But it's just a wonderful place to work. The support I've received there from Mr. Rary and his coordination with the school board's been wonderful. My direct supervisor, Brian Arnold, I'll peek in his office. He gives me 5 minutes of his time quite frequently during the day, and I'll bounce some ideas off him, and he always gives me some nice positive feedback. It's just a wonderful place to work, and we just wanted to give back, and this is what we're doing.
Man, that is tremendous. So let me go into this thing a little bit deeper right now, okay? Because your idea is to put up a couple of walls, and they're going to be centrally located where in the school?
As you enter the events entrance, which would be on the west side of the building.
Yeah.
Like you're going to a basketball.
You're going to a basketball game or anything that's going to happen in the gym there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would walk in there and you would go past that first set of walls, and right around the corner there, you'll see our commons area, and there's a door right there, and on both sides of that door, a whole angled wall, the wall is going to be there. So it's going to be quite large. We were only going to take up one part of the wall because we were looking at 50 names per branch. Boy, were we mistaken, because we have over 220 Army already. We're in the 80s with the Navy and the Air Force. I think we're in the 60s with the Marines. We do only have like 6 or 7 Coast Guard, but that was expected. Not a whole lot went into the Coast Guard, but we are recognizing them. And we also have an MIA, missing in action, killed in action, and POW board as well.
Wow.
That's where it's located.
Wow.
So everybody will be able to see it. Not quite sure when we're gonna, I think we'll be able to start putting it up in our custodians, who are outstanding in our school. It'll be shipped to us from Columbus, and then the custodians in Bryan will be responsible to assemble, put it on the wall.
Sure.
And it's a fairly simple process. They send all the hardware and everything. And so there'll probably be a dedication day for that.
Okay.
Mr. Rary and I have talked about it a little bit. We thought about 911. 911 happens on a Saturday though this year. And we may still push it back to Veterans Day. That might be a great time to do it. We do program at the gym usually, and it's huge.
Yes.
And a lot of veterans come, and what better time to maybe present that than then? We haven't made that. That's not in stone yet, but we're going to discuss it and come up with a good day.
Yeah. And we're talking about really anybody who graduated from Bryan High School who served. Is that correct?
Correct. The qualification is that you graduated from Bryan, or you worked in Bryan. We've had some teachers that haven't, and custodians or administrators or whoever that have worked in Bryan schools, but graduated somewhere else. But if you still worked at Bryan City Schools, you were eligible to be on the wall. So graduates, and now we have made some exceptions. Back in the early 20s and 30s, some kids went to Bryan, but they couldn't graduate because they had to quit school to go help on the farm.
Sure.
So they were unable
Yep.
to, not any fault of their own. So we've had a couple that their family members have explained this to us, and so we have gone ahead and let them be on the wall as well, because they still went to school in Bryan. They never graduated due to family and taking care of their farmland and taking care of their family. So we went ahead and said, you know what, you still went on to serve your country.
Yes.
And so good on you.
Yeah.
Put you on the wall.
How far back have we gone right now? What's the earliest member on our wall?
I think 1918.
Okay.
Is the earliest one so far.
Wow. And I would think that if people are listening to us right now, or they're going to see the replay on this on our social media,
sure,
there might be a couple out there that will go back a little bit farther than that.
Oh, there
right?
may be.
Sure.
There may be, absolutely. And it's just wonderful to see how many people have responded. And like I say, my favorite part of this is to be that point person where I get to hear their stories. You know, they'll call me. I've given my phone number out there.
Yes.
I can do that here on the radio too. And I've got 2 email addresses that people can, and they can call me, and I can put them. I have the app. We've made an app for this, and I can just get their information and put them right on the wall as we speak on the phone.
That is amazing.
So
that is amazing. Jon Ely is with me. We have a wall of honor that's going to go up for military people who have graduated or been part of the city of Bryan over the course of years, and he's going to hang with me for a little while. We're going to give you out that telephone number. We will give you that email address if you happen to have a family member or a friend that maybe has not been considered right now because maybe you just didn't know about it, okay? We encourage you to call Jon or email him down the road, and we'll give you that as we go. But right now, back into classic hits. Paying some bills. It's 20 after 10. You've got the cue on a Tuesday morning. BG staying alive. 10:36 here on a Tuesday on the cue, and I've got Jon Ely with me right now, talking about a wall of honor for all of the military men and women who either graduated from Bryan High School over the years or who have been associated with the city of Bryan over the years. And Jon is basically helping the schools spearhead this entire project. And Jon, for folks who have been listening right now, and probably some of them have been sitting there with a piece of paper and a pencil because they said, okay, Funderburg's going to finally ask this guy how I can get a hold of him so I can get my dad, my brother, my uncle, my niece, whoever it might be,
yes,
involved in this whole thing. So let's give them the contact information right now.
Okay, well, my personal contact, my personal email address is ElyJonR, that is ELYJONR, @AOL.com. And my phone number, that's my personal phone number, is 419-636-2006. And you can call that number at any time. If I don't answer, you just leave a message and I'll call you back. My school email, because I work at Bryan City Schools, is JELY, that's jelly, @bryanschools.net. So you can also get a hold of me through that email address as well.
Fantastic. And we will put all that information up on our Facebook page when we are done, and also on B-Rock's Facebook page, so that if you do have anybody that you think would be a great candidate to put on there, and they do not have to have any honors. This is not a situation where you have had to have a Purple Heart or whatever it might be. Just if you served your country and you came from Bryan, graduated from Bryan High School, or were related to the city itself, we want to know who you are so that we can honor you. Now, I want to get into some real difficult conversation, I'm sure, with you right now, because you're a longtime Navy guy.
Yeah,
okay.
27 years.
Family's all Navy people.
Yep, my dad World War II, and my daughter Mallory was also in as well. So
yep,
3 generations Navy, and my grandson, who's going to be a freshman, he's thinking about going to the Navy.
Wow.
As well, so that'd be 4 generations.
So there you go.
So go Navy.
No doubt. Your daughter, though, is one of the many military people that we hear about every day. Okay.
Yeah.
Who served honorably, who had just a lot of difficulties, and you lost her here about a year or so ago.
Yes.
That had to be probably the hardest thing. I cannot imagine at this point in time losing any kids whatsoever. But tell me a little bit about Mallory, will you?
Well, Mallory was she was just kind of a very independent girl. We moved here after I retired in Virginia Beach from the Navy when she started 7th grade here, so that was 2004. So 7th grade in Bryan was her first school experience here. And going through school, she was just outstanding. She just very independent, very book smart, read a lot, just did very well, didn't ever get in any kind of trouble. She just did what she was supposed to do. She'd give you one-word answers if you ever asked her, like, how's school going? Good. Never would elaborate much further than that. Unlike my oldest daughter, Megan, who you better take 10 or 15 minutes for that, because she's going to tell you all about it. But anyway, Mallory graduated from 2010 and absolutely loved the teachers in school. And like I said, she had quite a high GPA, and she went on to the Ohio University Bobcats, and she was going to study, I think it was biochemistry.
Okay.
Well, she got there and decided that she didn't like that very much, so she transferred after her freshman year to Ohio State University, where she was studying psychology. A completely different deal. Well, college life wasn't agreeing with her very much. She discovered that, well, you know, no one's really supervising her, and do I really need to go to school today? No. And, you know, things were just kind of going down the tubes to where she got to her junior year, and she was through her junior year almost. I think she finished her junior year. She was going to be a senior at Ohio State. But she ended up calling me one day, and she happened to be in the Navy recruiter's office in Columbus. I go, Mallory, what are you doing there? She goes, well, I'm going in the Navy, Daddy. I go, no, you're not. What are you doing? She goes, well, college isn't agreeing with me. I scored like a 97 on the ASVAB test, so I can do pretty much whatever I want in the military, so I want to be a linguist, and I'm going in the Navy. And that's pretty much all there is to it, Dad. I'm going.
Wow.
And so that was a shock, and I'm thinking, this girl can't even make her bed. I've been in her apartment at Ohio State. It looked like a bomb went off in there. I go, she's going to go to boot camp, and how's she going to make her rack and do inspections and pass all this stuff? Well, she went on a boot camp in Great Lakes, Illinois, and we received a letter in the mail like 3 weeks before she graduated that stated that, it said, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Ely, your daughter is getting the Military Excellence Award from the Admiral for being the #1 sailor out of 810 recruits. And I'm thinking, this is a joke. Somebody is pulling me. This is a kind of a rude. I'm looking at my wife. I go, #1 out of 810. How can that be? So we went to her graduation. I got all dolled up in my dress blue uniform, and I showed up there, and there she is out front of all these people, 810 men and women, 10 divisions. #1, got gold watch from the Admiral and got all these accolades from the captain, and she was out in front. I just couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And then she went on to Monterey, California, to the Defense Language Institute, and she studied for 2.5 years to learn Arabic. Once she completed there, then she went on to Pensacola, Florida, where she went through IT school.
Okay.
And that's computers. And she finished #1 in her class in IT school. Then, while she was at Monterey, she'd met her husband, Joel, who was in the Army. They got married, and then they ended up moving to Fort Meade in Maryland, and they both worked for NSA.
Okay.
And I could never know what either one of them ever did, because whatever it was top secret. Now, I had a top secret clearance in the Navy, but it wasn't like this one.
Yeah.
This is one that, you know, she was doing work in the Pentagon for the Defense Secretary and things like that. It's just, I had no idea, and she couldn't speak of it.
Right.
But whatever it was, it must have been taxing on her, because she got out after 6 years, and that was January of last year, 2020, and she received an honorable discharge, and she did a great job in her 6 years in the Navy. Outstanding sailor, made us proud, but she had 80% disability, and
wow.
I about fell out of my chair. I have 30%. I worked on aircraft carriers, and 20% for my back and 10% for high blood pressure, and you know, those are normal kind of things after so many years. But 80% is like losing a limb in battle.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
catastrophic. And I had no idea, and again, she didn't speak of it, what was going on, and some type of form of PTSD or whatever, and it involved drugs that she was taking, and
Yeah.
and we lost her.
Yeah. Oh.
And it was sudden. It was unplanned. We didn't see it coming, and it was devastating to our family. But we know she's in a good place.
Yeah.
Our faith and the Lord has her in with God, and so that helps us get along. My work has been so supportive of me, and Lori's work at the courthouse as well. The community, our neighbors, our friends, our family, and without all that and our faith in the Lord, we would be in the hurt locker. But we have all that love around us, so we're going to be okay. We're going to be just fine. But Mallory's not alone. There are many, many sailors, soldiers, airmen that encounter this, and it's real. And it's a hardship for families. It's a hardship for the individual who's suffering through it. But they see and do things that are hard to see.
Yeah.
And they can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Basically.
And you know what, you hear about that every day. The number of military people who take their own lives, every day of the week because of these types of situations and these types of things. It is a very real problem. And I know it is one that the local Veterans Administration and our country's Veterans Administration nowadays are really starting to focus in on and try to work with these people. It makes you wonder, Jon Ely, my guest right now, because we're neither one kids, and you go back in our history and now you think of your uncle or your dad or your grandfather, whoever, who just would never talk about those things to you, you know? It wasn't because they had a secret clearance, they just wouldn't talk, you know? And they kept them all in and kept them inside. And you and I talked off mic. You wonder if Mallory would have been allowed to talk about maybe some of the things that were just haunting her at this point in time. Maybe that would have helped just a little bit.
I think she could have talked about some things, but Mallory just wouldn't talk.
Yeah.
That was her personality.
Yeah.
She just kept everything in. She, like I said, very independent. But just a shining light in our lives. And we just we loved her so much, and 28 years we got to spend with her, so we feel blessed for that much time. And but she was really a shining light and just a fun, quirky kid that her sister Megan loved her very much. It's just been hard on everybody. That everybody misses her. My grandkids miss their Aunt Melanie, and it's just it's tough, but we're going to get through, and she would want it no other way. We need to move on.
Unfortunately, that is exactly what you do. But now to be able to maybe take some of that and put it into this wall at the school, I think that probably is good for you and the family.
It's super good for us. And that's why, once this happened, we took the wall idea that Mr. Rary had and kind of took it to this next level, to where my wife and I felt like we wanted to do something for all those who loved us so much, and we were just humbled by the outpouring of caring and love that we received from everybody when we lost Mallory, that this was just a no-brainer to give back and to put her up there and as a memory. It's such a healing for us. Especially for me, it's super healing for me. I react differently in different ways, but for me, this has been the way for me to kind of focus my thoughts in a positive way, and not only that, to give back to the school I love, and the community that I love, because this is not only for the school, it's for all the families that are on that board. It's also for the city of Bryan. To have that to go see when they go to an event, they can go look at that board and look at those names. And we have them all scrambled up. They're not in alphabetical order.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the wall in Washington, where you got to go find your name. And while you're doing that, you can read the other names. See, we want you to see who was there. And there's a lot of families represented.
No doubt, 400 plus right now, and that
yeah.
will grow over the course of time.
It's
There's
just
no doubt.
absolutely humbling, and we're just gracious to have this opportunity.
Yeah.
The school and the school board was so receptive to this. I was able to talk about it a little bit with them, and they were overwhelmingly for this. And then Mr. Rary has been such a guiding light for me. He's much more computer savvy, so he's been able to put all these names on it. I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to disseminate all the... He goes, don't worry about it, John. We'll sit down here, and he just throws it up there, and he gets them all in alphabetical order. We had duplicate names because other family members were putting in their loved one several times, and so we would be able to decipher, how am I going to figure that out? Well, he just put them all up there, and oh, well, there's that's a duplicate.
Yeah.
And so without Mark, I don't know what I would do. And like I said, again, I'm going to throw props out there for Mr. Arnold, because I bounce a lot of ideas off of him, and he's been very supportive, as the whole staff has. I've got people that come in, just walk in my room and ask how I'm doing today. And, so it means a lot to me to work there and be a part of this.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, it means a lot to the people in Bryan and the people in our area to have what you started here, John, too.
Yeah.
So thank you
Yeah.
for that as well. I'm going to let John go today, but we're not looking for money at all.
No.
Everything is paid for, so we're not looking for that. We're just looking for names of family members or friends that you know of that are Bryan graduates or were somehow tied to Bryan itself here.
Bryan schools.
The Bryan schools themselves.
Like an employee of Bryan
There you go.
schools.
So we're looking for those kind of people, and if you like to contact John, his number is 419-636-2006. You also have an email address, ELYJON, the letter R, at AOL.com, and we'll put it up all on our social media here. John, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank
I appreciate
you
it.
for your service, your family's
Thank you.
service. Our heart goes out to you, and we just don't know how to do anything more than that. But if you ever need anything, holler. How's that?
Okay, well, thank you so much, Jim. We appreciate the opportunity.
What a great story. Jon Ely has been my guest here today, ONN News, and then we'll head into the 11 o'clock hour. I think Yasha Cheverini is going to join me via the Zoom from Diamond and Gold Outlet over in Napoleon as we work through that 11 o'clock hour.